So in this part, we are going to take a look at SQL database operations, the things we can do with the databases using SQL. But before we begin, let's first understand what a database actually is. Okay. A database is an organized collection of data that can be stored, managed, and retrieved easily. Think of it like a digital filing cabinet. Instead of keeping information on a piece of paper, we can store it inside a structured system. For example, if a school wants to keep information about students, teachers, and courses, all that information will be stored in a database. And SQL, which stands for a structured query language, is a language we use to communicate with the databases. Now that we have understood what a database is, let's move on to the main operations that we can perform on databases. And the first one is creating a database, which is the first operations. Okay, so but before we do that, let us first log in. So we log in, we are using my SQL, then dash user, then equals the user equals to root. We are the one that, it is the one that we are using. Then here we need to specify the password. If you set the password for the root user, you can provide it, but here it is empty. Okay, it is empty if you have not changed it. Then we press enter, we are in. Okay, as you can see here, we are directed that the commands end with oh, who is calling me. Here we are directed that the commands ends with this semicolon. Okay, so and here we are given some information and the version, blah blah blah. But let us first go with the first operation. So the first operation is creating a database. Okay, so to create a database, we use the create keyword or the create command. Okay, so we use the create, then the database, create a database. All these are commands: create database, then the database name. And in this case, we are going to create a database named the company DB. Okay, company DB. So let us leave some space here, and after doing that, we end our commands, and then we press enter. So after pressing enter, we get this one. Okay, so if you get this one, then the database has been created successfully. Then our next operation is viewing all the databases. Okay, which is the next operation. So to view all databases, we use the show command, the show databases command. Okay, so let us use it, show databases, like that, and then we end our command. And if we do that and then we press enter, as you can see, we get all the databases. Okay, we have BWAP, don't mind about it. We have even other databases which you should not mind about. So we have one database which we are interested in. It's called the company DB, and this is the database that we have created previously. Okay, is the database that we have created. Okay, and it is the one that we need. Okay, it is the one that we need. Okay, and the command that we have used lists all the databases on the server, including system databases and the ones you created. Okay, so let us look at the third operations, which is selecting a database. So to select a database which we are going to use, remember we need to specify, okay, the database that we are going to use. Okay, and when you create a database, okay, when you are creating a database, the command we use, which is the create database command, creates a new database called the company DB, which we created. Okay, and it's like making a new folder where all your data will live. Okay, so let us now take a look at how we can select a database. Okay, to select a database, we use the use command, then the database that we want to select, which is command DB in this case, and then we end our line. And after doing that, before we do that, you can see here we are using the database. Here we are using none. Okay, we are using no database. Okay, so if we use this command and then we press enter, we press what's happening? We press okay, and then we press enter. As you can see, database changed. Okay, database changed. As you can see, now we are using the company DB. Okay, as you can see, so that's how we can change into different databases. Okay, we can even add, we can use other databases. These ones we can use them. Okay, so let us now we have changed the database. Okay, but what if this one was not there? There is another way how we can check the current database that we are using, and this one we use the select database command. Okay, so to use it, we just type select select, then database, then we add the semicolons, the parentheses. After doing that, we add the semicolon to end our command, and after that, doing that, then we press enter. Okay, as you can see here, database, here we have company DB. As you can see, one row inserted, which means our operation has been successful. Okay, and this returns the name of the databases. Okay, the database you are currently using. Okay, so let us take a look at another long operation, which is the fifth operation, and this one is renaming a database. Okay, so not all SQL systems allow direct renaming. Okay, some systems let you use commands like you can use alter, then database, outer database, then you write the database that you want to change, which is company DB, and then you use the modify command, and then you want to modify the name, then you specify the name that you want to rename it to. Okay, so here we can you can give business DB. Okay, and then you add a semicolon, and this one does not work when we are using MariaDB. Okay, which is my SQL. This one does not work. Okay, and if we press enter, as you can see, we get an error in SQL here. We get an error. Okay, in our SQL syntax, which means we cannot use this command. Okay, we cannot use this command in this system that we are using. Okay, instead we should use another method. Okay, and in the systems that do not support this, we would create a new database and move the data into that database, and we delete the previous database. Okay, so for example, we can create a database named business DB. As you can see, business DB. Okay, after doing that, then let us show databases like that. If we do that, we can see we have our business DB. Now let us create, for instance, let us create a table. Okay, if we had a table inside the company DB, okay, which contains multiple data, let us create a table. Okay, so if we want to see all the tables, we just use the show command. Show I want to see tables like that. As you can see, it is empty in this database of the company DB. So let us create a table just for study purposes. So we create a table. We create a table with this command, with these commands, and then the table name called users. Then from there, these parentheses we end, and then inside here we need to provide a row. A table must have at least one row. Okay, and if we just execute this one, it's going to bring an error. Okay, so we need to provide a table. So to a row, okay, we need to give it at least one row. So for the row, we want to create names, and this name is a name. It's going to have, it is going to be variable character. Then we specify the number of characters we want. We want like let us set to 100. Then from there we end like that. Okay, so after doing that, we press enter. As you can see, query 0 row are affected. But if we do that, if we use this command show tables, as you can see, we have one table, which is users. Okay, so in order to transfer all this information into a new database, which in this case it's called renaming a database, we do it like this. Okay, we go back and we use the business DB, the database. So we are now in the business DB, and if we show the database, the tables, as you can see, it is empty. Okay, so in order to transfer all the files we have in a company DB to business DB, what we can do is we can use the rename. Want to rename what? We want to rename the table. Which table do we want to rename? Remember, the table is in the company DB, so we need to specify the database, which is company DB. Then company DB dot which table? Users. Okay, then from there we want to rename it to what? To, we use it to, want to rename it to it is we want to put it in the business DB, so we specify business DB dot, let us name it, give it a users table. Okay, like that. After doing that, we press enter. As you can see here, 0 rows affected. So if we do this, if we now show tables, show tables like that, you can see we now have the users table in the business DB. Okay, tables in the business DB, we have one table. Okay, let us go back and we use the company DB there. So let us use that one, and then we show the tables like that. As you can see, it is now empty, and if it is empty, we can now drop it. We can drop it, and this drop, it is another database operation which is called dropping a database, which is also termed as deleting a database. Okay, so we can use the drop command. Then want to drop a database, not a table. Database. Want to drop a database, then we provide the name, which is company DB, like that. If we do that, and then we show the databases, databases, as you can see, it is no longer there. It is no longer there. The company database, it is no longer there. Okay, so you need to be careful. Dropped databases cannot be recovered. Okay, guys, you cannot recover dropped databases. Okay, so let us look at another seventh operation, okay, which is somehow important when you are creating a database. Okay, and this one is called setting database character set and collation. Okay, collation. When creating a database, you can define its character set and collation. Okay, this is extremely important because it determines how text is stored, displayed, and compared. Okay, so for example, the character set defines the collection of characters your database can store. Okay, and the collation defines how those characters are compared and sorted. Okay, so for example, let us create a database. Let us create a database named what? Let us recreate our database. We love it so much because it is our company database, company DB, and then we specify character set command, and then we specify these ones. It's called the UTF-8MB4. Okay, UTF-8MB4. Okay, MB4, or that one, UTF-8MB4, and this one, this is a character set that supports all Unicode characters. Okay, including emojis and special symbols. Okay, and it is recommended character set. Okay, for modern applications. Okay, because you need to include emojis, guys. Okay, now most people nowadays use emojis, so it's better to use this character set. Okay, so another one we need to specify. The collate, which is the collation. Okay, and the collation. Then here we need to specify which is the collation we are using. We are using UTF-8MB4. Okay, 8MB4, and then we specify down here. We add what we call the general, and then we add the CLI. Okay, like that, the CLI. Let me explain this one. The UTF-MB, okay, is composed of two. We have the CI, okay, the CI, which stands for case insensitive, which means it's capital A and small a, or lowercase a and uppercase a are treated as the same when comparing text. Okay, and the general, which is this one, the general, this one. Here we are supposed to use CI, not CLI. The CI, okay, CI, and the general. We have seen that CI means case insensitive. Okay, and the general is used for the sorting laws. Okay, applied for comparing characters. Okay, and by setting these explicitly when creating the database, you avoid three main problems. Okay, and the first one is when you get the problem of text not displaying correctly, and another one, sorting issues in queries, another one, errors when storing special characters, okay, or emojis. Okay, you avoid those errors. So when we press enter, as we have a problem. You have an error and you check the manual that corresponds. Okay, so we are creating a DB, then we name it company DB. Company DB. Here we are supposed to use a character, then set, then here we add the collate, press enter, As you can see, one row has been one law affected, which means the law of databases has been affected. And if we show databases, as you can see, we now have our new company DB. Okay, so thank you.